Coming up here at the Circle of Debate Podcast, episode number 24, as we will give our thoughts about the WWE Draft. Who went where? Who went to Raw? Who went to SmackDown? So we'll give our thoughts about that. And also, we'll go ahead and discuss pro wrestling news. Returning former Diva women wrestler from, former WWE women wrestler returning to WWE. And also, do we hear, an in-ring return from an NXT commentator? There's so much in pro wrestling. Also, who made the top 10 Pro Wrestling Illustrated? Who took number one? Let's find out. Also, we will discuss the Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament, the second rounds, who advanced from the semifinals to the finals. And we'll discuss the update of the New Japan G1 Climax. It's almost about to end, and who's up there in the rankings with points. Also, this past week's NXT and AEW Dynamite 1-year anniversary. Who is the AEW champion and who is the TNT champion? So stay tuned as episode 24 starts right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Circle of Debate Podcast, episode number 24. I'm the host of Devious One here alongside one of my brothers from another mother. Of course, we got, now it's no longer the Matt's world, it's the Hats world. And it's the Hats world because this is the faces of hats of Matt's. And as you can see, the Undertaker. He has the Undertaker one. He can have, I don't know, he has, oh yeah, he could be Carlito right there, Carlito. Or he could be Escobar. I mean, Sami Zayn right there. Sami Zayn right there. He could be Sami Zayn, and that is with Matthew Steamboat, ladies and gentlemen. And also, the hero that saves us from all this bullshit of retribution and from other pieces of shit, from Dave Meltzer to Brian Alvarez to Wade Keller to, I can mention no names because I will be busted. But the man with a 12-inch python that flexes for you and tells you, no, what you're going to do when the great American hero runs wild on you.
That is right. Episode 24. Let's get started.
That's right. Let's get it started, gentlemen. What a week of pro wrestling, what a week of, draft. We're all wondering who's going where. And a lot of changes that I was unexpected. A lot of team split. That was a shocker that the jaws dropped. So I'm like, what? Are you serious? So let's go ahead and start it off. So with Raw's new, obviously, talent that went to Raw, drop down the names as quickly as possible. Obviously, McIntyre stayed. The Hurt Business stayed. AJ Styles, a new one. Bray Wyatt, Orton stayed. Strowman, Matt Riddle, Jeff Hardy, Keith Lee, Ricochet, Elias, Sheamus, Garza, Carrillo, Gulak, Tucker, Dabakato, which I don't know, Titus, Tozawa. Of course, you got to keep it in. Riddick Mox, Arturo, Roas. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, that's just the male perspective side. Obviously, we see the two splits, which was the Lucha House Party. Now they're and Kalisto is on SmackDown, so now we have Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado on Raw as a tag team. The New Day, that was the one, like, what? You split up Biggie from Kofi and, Xavier Woods. That is a shocker. And obviously, we have Mike's favorite tag team. That is Retribution. That's his favorite tag team, ladies and gentlemen. That's
it. T-Bar.
T-Bar, Snapjack.
I'm just going to call him T-Bone and Slapnuts. That's
there you go.
T-Bone and Slapnuts.
And also, we had the Miz and Morrison going to a Raw as well. On the female side, we had Asuka, Charlotte, Noemi, Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Lana. Obviously, Shayna Nia stayed, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, which they were the first ones before anything else. SmackDown side, obviously, Roman stayed. Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Big E, Aleister Black, Apollo Crews, Otis, Murphy, Kalisto, Lars, Corbin, Shorty G. Should be Chad Gable, should not be Shorty G. Ray and Dominic, obviously, as a team. And the Street Profits is Cesaro Nakamura, Ziggler, Rude. And then, obviously, the women's side, Bayley, Sasha, Bianca Belair, Carmella, Natalia, Billie Kay, Tamina, Selena Vega, and the Riot Squad. 2 people that were not drafted, which obviously they're going to announce they're going to be somewhere anyways, and that is Andrade and Mickie James. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Hero, your thoughts about this draft, and how do you feel about these, shocking teams that split up? Was it a good or bad decision that they did that? What are your thoughts about it?
Right off the bat, I did not like that the Mysterios got drafted as a team, I guess.
Yes.
The Mysterios got drafted along with Rollins.
Yes.
I was ready. Seth was ready for that storyline to end, and this whole romantic probably thing that's going to be going on. I'm sure he wants to get as far away from that as possible. He was interviewed when he got drafted to SmackDown, and he said, a good thing I don't have to see their disgusting faces, his words, anymore. But then again, here it's like Ray and Dominic were so happy that they are following Seth over to SmackDown. So yeah, I disapproved about that. I approve the New Day splitting up.
Okay.
What else is the New Day going to do together? I just, they've won the tag team titles for so many times. 8, I believe now.
Yes.
Big E, I'm sure he wants to go off on his own and test the waters, see how far he can go, right?
Yes.
So, and definitely I believe he could go far. Maybe even world title status, I would say. He definitely has the ability, the talent, the charisma, and so definitely I'm down for that. Let's see, the Fiend. I like the Fiend going to Monday nights. I would not have wanted a Roman versus Fiend feud because I'm pretty sure that they would have just let Roman beat the Fiend, and so I'm glad that he's going to Raw. This whole Alexa Bliss thing is going to build up and go somewhere good, hopefully. So those are the ones that stand out to me. Also, that there was no NXT people involved that I'm aware of. And some people at the end there, I guess they were drafted to Raw because of Raw Underground to keep that thing going and
ridiculous
stuff. Which I guess it's its own sub brand of its own. I don't know. But, they have their people for that roster, I guess. And Braun Strowman, I guess he's going to that now. But, it is what it is. I thought it was okay. And as far as the teams, I mentioned New Day. I think that's good.
All right. Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts about this draft?
I gotta say, like, of course, I'm going to mention for our friend who isn't here. He's actually sent this to me as a message, but he said it's only a matter of time before they start jumping shows and starting and just ignore the draft completely. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show up on NXT now. The wild card rule, whatever. It doesn't matter. For some people it does. For others it doesn't. It's just like less people. Basically, they should change the name from the draft to the less wrestlers appearing on most shows. Basically, is the idea.
Ouch. Damn. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. This, I think for me, this draft was I agree with the New Day. I think it's about time for Big E to go on his own. And let's compare him, for example, unlike Kofi, pretty much his underdog story. I think we did mention in our archives, archives and gentlemen, watch them. We have mentioned probably before that, Big E deserves to go singles push and get a world title shot and be world champion. I think he's the next, because he's the one that next. Xavier, no disrespect to him. I think he's more of a mid-card champion, like an IC or a United States champion, from my opinion.
Or up, down champion.
Yeah, he's up the champion.
He's a social media guy. So.
Yeah. He's perfect, you know. So that one really stand out to me. I did like the fact that a lot. If you notice that SmackDown has a lot of the best talents from Owens to keeping Daniel Bryan. Sammy's still there. Alistair, adding Alistair made a lot for me. Like hell yeah, now we're able to see Alistair and Daniel Bryan feud. That's what I want to see that. That's something that I'm looking forward. Even hopefully or with Chad Gable. Like I would like to see. We've missed out on Riddle and Daniel Bryan, but obviously Daniel Bryan when newborn arrived, so he took some time off, and so we missed out on that one. I wish they could have. Vinny, what are you doing, man? I would have booked it. I would have booked Riddle and Daniel Bryan automatically already when he first came in. That was the dream match I wanted to see. You know, why the hell not? And it's unfortunate how Matt Riddle's career is right now too, because and Keith Lee, you're not gonna do shit on Raw. I'm telling you that right now. I hate to say it. We're gonna be seeing now. We're no longer gonna see the Hurt Business and Apollo now. We're gonna see the Hurt Business and the New Day for the next 15 to 20 weeks, feuding 15 times a fucking 15 matches, every week. So Jesus Christ! I mean, they're running out of ideas. You can tell they're running out of ideas with this draft. Like I said, it's interesting, but I think the one who won is SmackDown for me. SmackDown won on this draft, in my opinion, because the fact that they got a lot of talent that we're able to see great matches compared to Raw, which is a 3-hour show. How the fuck are you going to make it happen with this if you're going to put on the same fucking people for the 3 hours? And it sucks. It really sucks. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait to see on the first season, how they call it now, for SmackDown, to see how the opening will become for them. So best of luck for Big E and on his singles career, and hopefully it pays off. Hopefully we see Big E Roman for that WWE Universal Championship pretty soon. You never know. I said it here first. You will see that soon. Definitely will see that soon. But all right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move on with pro wrestling news. Obviously, speaking about the draft, was in regards for Andrade. There was a lot of speculations that he was going to go to NXT because of the Twitter that he posted on a social media platform. Him with the NXT Championship. Then Charlotte putting out, it looks like Serena and Andrade no longer. Maybe he needs a new manager. I'm like, are we going to see Charlotte and Andrade, teaming up? Is Andrade going to go heel? I mean, is he going to go babyface? How's this going to work? But there's rumor in your windows, which we're giving our opinions, ladies and gentlemen, that he's not going to NXT. He's going to end up going to Raw because that's Charlotte's boyfriend. And the unfortunate part about this situation is Vince gave up on Andrade. He lost a squash match to Angel Garza on Raw. He lost, and then to top it off, you had Bray and squashing even worse. This is how you could tell that Vince gave up on Andrade. And where do you see Andrade's future, Mr. Hero, now that this is happening? And what are your thoughts about his career in WWE?
Yeah, it doesn't look so good for Mr. Andrade. I've heard so much about him. I saw some of his matches in NXT. But, yeah, I mean, he has not been allowed to deliver on the main roster, and that is a shame, So why they're not going behind him, I don't know. They gave him a manager. He has the ability to do awesome matches in the ring. He's not short. He's not, he's in good shape. I just don't understand.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts about that?
I gotta say, I have a special place. I've said it before. La Sombra is my girlfriend's favorite wrestler. To the former La Sombra, much love to him. He's the same height as me too, so that's the Inglober Nobles. And just to see, it's sad to hear him being jobbed out. So I'd love to see him back in some kind of title picture again, or in some type of high-profile program with somebody, some type of feud. Just for to get something out of them, Yeah. I'm wondering if it's some sort of self-punishment in exchange for nepotism type of things. Charlotte's got a lot of connections, so but I don't think that's the case though. It's just Papa Vinny, just
Yeah, it's it's like him, he's playing with his toys and he's like, damn, I don't like this twin anymore. I want this one. You know,
Yeah.
like if anything in general, like we can name. Oh, I like this product, but this product is no longer good. It's unfortunate that human beings are labeled that way, especially in the pro wrestling industry. Especially that because they're not just a product; they're human beings that work their asses off to pay their dues to where they're at. And obviously they have a lot to deliver, but they don't see they don't see any future in anyone. And it's unfortunate. It's happened with a lot. It's happened like what I can name former WWE superstars, but that's a long list that I'm not gonna go ahead and go do. But this is an unfortunate for Andrade's. I would like to see him back in NXT. Why not? I think him being the faction leader for the legacy, the legacy of
El legado del fantasma.
I wouldn't mind seeing him being a leader for that. He start his own Ingobernables in NXT with that faction. Why the hell not? Or put him with the Lucha House Party and Raw. Make him, as another great faction. Something, he has a lot to still give. And how Mike said, he's great in the ring. I believe Vince does not like his mic skills because his English is not that great. But off camera, like off kayfabe, his English is not that bad. So it's just, I just don't understand. It's kind of like the same with Nakamura situation, how Nakamura's English was that great, in the mic. So that's where they have most of the tag team division. But it's an unfortunate. Also, just moving on, I just want to go ahead and give our condolences, obviously, to Mr. Ryan Smile, who has passed away. He's a very known independent pro wrestler from the UK era. He was trained by Pac. He was a former, Rev Pro UK champion. He had a great list of credentials. It is sad that, he passed away, and, we don't know, obviously, can't confirm the cause or anything as of yet, but I pay my respects to his family and condolences. And man, we will, we have respect for you. And I mean, you were a great athlete. I love your broken smile, finisher. Great. It's just sad, like the whole independent wrestling scene is saddened by it. And we don't wish no one, that at all. So our condolences to the Smile family. Rest in peace. Rest in paradise, my brother. Moving on with that, obviously, there was another comment. I don't recall what interview that Dominic had, but they asked him, would you ever have a Dominic Mysterio, David Benoit match? And I'm like, wow. And that's Dominic's response. Absolutely. Why not have two of the greatest, 2 second generations, from the first generation star, fathers wrestle each other, recreate something incredible. We haven't had no response from David Benoit as of yet. I even asked him myself, but he has no response. Everybody has been trying to get his response on social media platforms, but he has not responded. So I ask you, Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts. Do you see that in the future? I don't see it in WWE, but I can tell you that I can see it somewhere else. But do you see that happening?
Yeah, I definitely, of course, don't see it in WWE, but there's everybody's kind of like praying for it with AEW just because of, like, I've said this about Shaul Guerrero. Chris Jericho has a really close relationship with those families.
Yes.
He's almost like a surrogate father to them. So not only is it likely for AEW to take it on, but I feel like Chris Jericho would agent the match. Especially, he's able to get highly rated matches with get a lot of attention behind them. And, he watches the development of new wrestlers nowadays, especially with the role he's moving into. And if this could happen, if it doesn't even happen soon, David Benoit, I don't know his age exactly. I know he's younger than me, but do you guys know how old he is?
I don't remember how old is he. I think
he's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I believe mid-20s, yeah.
So there's plenty of time yet for it to happen, and especially time for him to develop. Dominic is he's 19?
I think he's 21 already.
21, okay.
Yeah, he's not in his teens anymore.
No.
Yeah, he's got some time yet to for those two to build up as wrestlers. So they might want to build their names on their own before this goes down. So
I totally agree with that. Mr. Hero, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, WWE is not going to let go of Dominic anytime soon. And this is not happening in WWE.
No.
So it's going to be a while. And I haven't heard anything about David Benoit training still or anything going on. You know, I know that Chris Jericho has him under his wing, right? And he's kind of like a padrino, we call it in the Latin world.
Yes, Godfather, pretty
like
much.
a godfather, right? So I would say that he would more than likely, or odds are he would end up in AEW.
Yes.
So David Benoit would. So yeah, if it were to take place anywhere, it would be there, AEW. And I know that Mysterio Senior, he has good relations with the Bucks and with Jericho and everybody there too. So definitely, it's not off the table, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
I agree. As we'll see that in the foreseeable future. You never know; it might happen from 5 to 10 years from now, as we discuss this. And you'll see it in you see our old asses, talking about this. And we talked about this 5 years ago. 10 years ago, we talked about it. But yes, we will definitely keep an eye on that for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on with that, let's go now. Who's rumor in your window, but then it was confirmed Eva Marie returning to WWE. She did confirm on her social media platform that she is returning. Obviously, she's going through some tests. We all thought we were going to see her in the draft, but it did not happen. But we will see her on the main roster pretty soon, probably a Raw or SmackDown. So stay tuned for that when we see her. So I ask you, Mr. Hero, your thoughts about her return. And you feel this time her return, she needs to prove a point. And,
Yes.
and exactly, right? So that's how I would like to hear it. Take the floor.
You know what? I sometimes wrestling fans can be very, how can I put it, asshole-ish in a nice way. The thing is, okay, these people, wrestling is not easy, and it takes years and years of preparation and practice to hone the craft, right?
Yes.
I know that because I've seen videos, I know that Eva Marie has actually tried to get good in the ring. Wouldn't it be something if she comes back as this technician, Daniel Bryan level sort of, wrestler, and for me, I wish wrestlers well, and I wish Eva Marie well. I know that she's also done some light MMA training, and I wish her the best. I'm guessing it's really confirmed that she's coming back, right? So
yes,
that'd be great, and I hope to go to her signing so she can sign my pup.
There you go. That's right. That is right. Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts about Eva Marie returning?
I didn't really catch Eva Marie during her later days. I was basically introduced to her like in the 02, 03 era with her feud with Tori Wilson and the Al Wilson thing going on. So that's the image of Eva Marie I have in my head, more or less. I didn't really like how much longer was she with the company after that? Like, did she stop appearing like in 05 or?
No,
I think you got the wrong person.
Oh, Dawn Marie. Sorry, my brain.
not Dawn Marie. Eva Marie. Eva Marie.
That would have been an entirely different story.
I've been Marie's. Oh my God. Now I'm embarrassed.
It's okay. It happens.
I am somewhat familiar with Eva Marie, so just see more out of somebody, especially whenever they improve. Yeah.
I mean, well, Eva Marie did not do better at NXT before she went up to the main roster. When she went up to the main roster, you could tell they didn't really use her for shit. You were just teasing the crowd like, okay, her more wardrobe malfunction. It was pathetic. However, booked that storyline for her was pathetic. They should have given her an opportunity. And unfortunately, a lot of bad things happened behind the scenes that we do not know about. And it was, bad juju, and they let her go.
I remember her now. I just looked it up. She had a feud with Asuka. How could I forget?
That was an NXT though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an NXT.
That's the Eva Marie I remember. It's just it's just faces to names. Remember, that common saying everybody says at the party. I remember names. I don't remember faces.
Yeah.
So there I am, guilty. So
It's all right. But yeah, like I'm with Mike on this one. I mean, I wish her the best as well, and hopefully she comes back and prove a point. And I think this one is her, second chances are the best ones, and the third one's the charm. But I hope the second opportunity she gets, she knocks it off the park and makes herself known in the ring and outside. And wish you the best, Eva. Wish you the best. We're not hating. Congratulate. Well, yes. Then moving forward for that. Speaking of Dark Side of the Ring making their season 3, I'm looking forward. They have announced the production of which what topics they're talk about, which is not confirmed. That's why I'm not throwing the names out yet, because I don't want to do it and then it doesn't happen. We're not fucking Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez that says, oh yeah, well my sources tell me this. Like, nope, we're not that at all. But I'm looking forward to season 3. I'm pretty sure Mike is looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure Matt is looking forward to it. We covered in our archives our top 5 best Dark Side of the Ring episodes. So look at that on our archive on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and you'll see how we discuss our favorite ones. So I'm looking forward for that. And also, speaking of, in regards to now SoCal, in a SoCal scene, we have United Wrestling Network. Finally, they're going to be crowning their first ever, United Wrestling Network World Champion. They have, they're associated with NWA and Championship Hollywood. Shout out to David Marquez, loved our interview with Ray Rosas, which once again, I love you, Ray. Much heart here, brother. Thank you very much. I'm glad you had a great time with us, and looking forward to speaking to you more, man. And hope to see you soon. But definitely, yeah, Mr. Marquez actually, did a shout out for us too. Shout out to you, Mr. Marquez. Hopefully, we get to see you on this podcast soon as well. So yeah, they'll be doing an 8-man tournament to crown a newly champion. So we're looking forward to that. Don't forget to catch them on United Wrestling Network on Fight TV. You can also come on Prime TV and any other local listings. Make sure you guys follow their social media platforms. We'll put a description below for you guys as well, so you can know where to follow them. And obviously, we have from Ray Rosas to Eric Watts, Zeke Dice, the Pope, who will be there. And also we have, Nick, Aldis, Michael Bennett, who will be making his return to that network. So many great stars. Aaron Stevens, Trevor Murdoch, a lot of them. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the topic that I would like to get into is pro wrestling news. Obviously, you guys heard about Pro Wrestling, Illustrated. They've been around for over 20 years. It's a magazine that they put up. They rank their top rankings of best female, best male wrestlers every year annually. They have that annually. So they took out now this year's top female wrestlers in the world. In the world, Craig. The world.
Oh.
The world. And they definitely shocked the world. A lot of people did not agree with basically this number 1. So the number 1 that Pro Wrestling Illustrated chose was Bayley. Bayley was the number 1 on their list. Yep. What? Exactly. She made the top list as number 1. So I'm going to give you the top 10. I'm not going to give you all of them, but I'll give you the top 10. So we have Bayley as 1, Becky Lynch as number 2, Asuka 3, Charlotte Flair 4, Sasha Banks 5, Hikaru Shida at 6, Tessa Blanchard 7, Riho 8, 9 Io Shirai, 10 Mayu Iwatani. Thank you.
From
You know
Stardust.
who that is, yes. So those are, I'm only naming the top 10. There's actually the 25 rankings. So what I ask you, Mr. Hero,
sorry, I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're shocked, right?
At that number 1. So this is for year 2000, right? I mean, 2020.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, my issue with that is that Becky Lynch was only around for not even a half, probably a third of the way through the year, I don't think that she should be at number 2. No offense to Becky Lynch. She's awesome. Very nice lady. I met her in real life. But as far as that ranking, I kind of disagree with that. I would say Tessa Blanchard should be up like in the top 3. You know, she won a world title. You know,
Yes.
Bailey as number 1. I don't know. I guess I'm sure there's a valid argument towards that, but I don't know. I wouldn't put her as my number 1. Maybe
No,
Oscar.
there you go.
I would put Oscar as number 1.
I'll put Oscar. I will put
Yeah.
Oscar my number 1.
Mhm.
Definitely. I mean, so that's a shocker, right? That Bailey number 1. But do you agree with the list? Obviously, 100%. No, right? So, yes or
And
no?
from what you say, that there's people that are disagreeing with that.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. A lot of comments on social media platforms that disagree with Bailey being number 1.
do they go through the criteria?
Yes, Pro Wrestling
Okay.
Illustrated. Pro Wrestling Illustrated goes through a lot of the criteria of every individual professional women wrestlers and male wrestlers as well. They go from they go to details from gimmicks to champions to their careers, their credentials. So this, they do this every year, annually. So it's a shocker. I know it's a
Are
shocker.
we going to talk about the men too?
No, only the women's right now that they took out. They haven't took out
Okay.
the men's yet. The men's
Gotcha.
yet, that I know of, they have not.
All right.
But yes, Mr. Steamboat, I want your thoughts. Who do you think Bailey should be number 1?
I gotta say, I agree with you guys for Oscar because she's burning the midnight oil this year. She's been probably like working the hardest this year. She got that Raw title, and that was like a big moment for her. But in addition to that, there's like 3 things. I think I'll lead off with a positive thing. Mayu Iwatani, I think I've talked about her before when we did the top 5 women's.
Yes.
She's like the Hiroshi Tanahashi of Stardom.
Yes.
She's the ace of Stardom.
I agree.
And I think she was one of the first Women of Honor champions in Ring of Honor. And
you know what? You're right. She was. I think as a Japanese though. You're right. I think she was.
She beat Kelly Klein, I think.
Yes.
In that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think her finisher is very similar to Io Shirai. She also does a moonsault. So, a lot of love to Mayu Iwatani. I'd probably put her higher on the list. But I think some of the other things, I think you're also kind of right about Becky. She hasn't been as busy this year, especially with everything going on. But I think the other big one is there might be a little bit of like social politics getting involved with it because like everything that went on with Tessa Blanchard and the accusations with her. So, I don't really have a dog in that fight with Tessa personally. Ain't nothing really for or against her. I'm just kind of indifferent, with her on that list. I'd say she's very, very great in the ring for the most part, but when it comes to like the stuff surrounding her, I'm kind of more neutral with it. But that's probably why she's down lower. I'm kind of surprised she's in the top 10 at all, though, because I think they're just trying to please like one side or the other. I don't know. There's like a whole thing with it.
Well, I mean, I get your valid argument, which is valid. It's understanding, but also you have to give, like how Mike said, her in-ring skills ability.
Yeah.
And not only that, her being the first champion, Impact female champion.
Very true.
And that's like, wow. Throughout TNA's, from the beginning of TNA becoming Impact, there's never been a female to hold the actual main belt for the company, the one that's representing a company. And she's
the first female ever to win a main belt, though. That's
yes, as a main championship, correct. I agree, 100%.
When China won the Intercontinental title, there was all this press about her. Like I remember at that time period, she was on TRL, on MTV. She was on the MTV Video Music Awards. Like she's like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You won Survivor, but I can beat you up. That was the whole thing. China was everywhere. She was a cultural, phenomenon.
Yes.
But we're in a very different time period, so it's like like the stuff surround like even if you made like a major accomplishment, just like one blemish could kind of shoot you down nowadays. Just kind of how like vicious our culture in the U.S. kind of is. So I mean, and then also there's the whole thing with Impact not being like a main player promotion. Like if it was like the WWE championship won by a woman, that would have been like
never gonna happen.
Yeah,
never gonna happen.
Because Vince is gonna be like, Daddy don't like.
I don't like this shit. No.
Yeah, it's
I actually disagree.
Here
I
we
think
go.
they're. I mean, we'll probably be like 70 or 80 years old, but I do think within our lifetime there will be
After
a
Vince
female,
dies. Once Vince
female
dies.
WWE champion.
And who would you name that to be?
Who would I think that would be? Simple. Triple H's daughter. One.
Oh.
Maybe The Rock's daughter, too.
Maybe The Rock's daughter. Sure. Why not?
You know who I would say?
Charlotte.
Nah. You know why?
Don't say Nia Jax.
No. I think if they could pull her, this will be an upset if they do. Ronda Rousey.
Okay. Very believable. I buy that. Yes.
I'll
buy that for $1.
Hell yeah. I would buy that for $1.
I won't say never. I'm just going to say after Vince dies. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, we don't wish this about nobody, but
no.
I just want to just get the clarified.
Yeah, like he's gonna get he can't live forever. I don't know what's going on with his health, but it's like either when like Stephanie or Triple H takes over, it's gonna be it'll be a very different WWE we're gonna see.
There is one wrestler that we did not mention, gentlemen, that should be up in the top. I would say top 5 in my opinion, and that is Thunder Rosa. She's She was a number 14 in overall in that ranks.
She should have been.
She should have been
top 5. Yeah.
This woman. Yeah, I mean, shit.
The lowest you could put Thunder Rosa is 6, is in my opinion. That's the lowest.
I will put her at 5 or 4. I'll put her at 5 or 4 because she deserves that.
Highest she could be 2.
I think
2 and 6.
Okay, I'll put Asuka as 1. That's for
Thunder Rosa.
No, you know what? I'll put Thunder Rosa as number 2. Why not? I'll put her number 2. She deserves it. Why the hell not? 3, I would put Charlotte Flair. She's up there no matter what. I would put. I love her because it's Io Shirai. Io Shirai should be up there.
Genius of the sky.
And Tessa. I'll put Tessa at 5. I'll put Sasha Bailey at 6 and 7. I love Sasha. It's just that right now we haven't seen the much best of her yet. I'm hoping that these upcoming matches that she will have, with Bailey, we'll see if it can recreate something what happened we saw years ago in NXT. But with Bailey being number 1, I believe they did it because of her heel turn. It's been a year since she turned heel, and nobody saw it coming for her to turn heel and be the longest SmackDown Women's Champion. I think that's the reason why they put her up there, because of and how her heel faction is right now, and it sold a lot of people, and yes, it has. It's got annoyed. We got annoyed from that. How long we've been waiting for Bailey and Sasha for a long time to happen, and it finally is happening. But how we called it out, which we did in our archives, we did say that Sasha's gonna be the baby face, Bailey being the heel. So I get why Pro Wrestling Illustrated put Bailey number 1 for that reason. That's why I think he did it, because of that. I mean, you agree, disagree? I mean, you think it was because of that, Mr. Hero, or what do you think they put her up there? Well,
Yeah, that's the biggest factor, But I disagree on your number 1, Pro Wrestling Insider or whatever is Illustrated.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now moving on from that, let's go ahead and move on to Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament. The second, semifinals. We had the first 2 matches of the semifinals. Jay Lethal versus David Finlay, and which was an incredible back-to-forth match. David Finlay Jr. did the best that he can, but unfortunately lost to Jay Lethal with the lethal injection. Ended into 1, 2, 3. Lethal moves on to the finals. As segue to not the finals, but he's still waiting for his opponent. And then we have Jonathan Gresham defeating Matt's brother's cousin, or long-lost cousin, Matt Sydal.
Your third eye. You got to get that
third eye. The third eye. Like, the man, that was another phenomenal match. I wish we could see more judge, a draw. I mean, time limit draw, let the judges fucking – I have a feeling this might happen in the finals. It might happen. So stay tuned with that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to follow Ring of Honor on their YouTube channel and their social media platforms. Keep up with the Pure Title Tournament. Next Monday will be the last two, which will be obviously Yehi versus Tracy Williams. The winner of that will face Jonathan Gresham. And we also had Woods versus PJ Black. The winner of that will face Jay Lethal. So stay tuned for that. We will do more coverage on the Pure Title Tournament. Moving forward with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on from day 13 to day 16 of the G1 Climax. It's getting close already to that edge, as obviously this is the 16th of October. So we're at the end of the peak. Who will make it to the finals? The block winner of A and the block winner B. We'll find out. So let me just go down the list. Day 13, block A, Cobb beat Ishii, White beat Yujiro's. Ospreay beat Taichi. Ibushi beat Suzuki. That was the stiffest match, by the way, I've ever seen in my life. If you guys did not see that match, I would recommend for you to YouTube it or look for it. And that match was the stiffest shit I ever seen. Suzuki did not sell for Ibushi at all. Just giving the face, ha, yeah, come on. And like, bam, forearm punch. And Suzuki was like, fuck you. You're a bitch to me. But that was the most stiffest match I haven't seen in a long time. So watch that, ladies and gentlemen. And, Okada beating Shingo. That's one. Day 14, Zack Zombie beating Yoshi. Kenta beating Toru Yano. Sanada beating Juice Robinson. Goto beating Tanahashi. Evil beating Naito, which that we saw that coming. I saw it coming. Day 15, Cobb beating Ospreay. No. Ibushi beating Yujiro. Taichi beating Shingo. Jay White beating Suzuki. Great match. Okada beating Ishii. That was another great match. 2 Chaos members. And the last, obviously, for day 16 on Block B, Kenta beating Yoshi. Zombie beating Juice Robinson. Naito beating Yano. Evil beating Goto. Sanada beating Tanahashi. Now, this is the points right now, ladies and gentlemen, on Block A. The leader is, we have a 3-way tie. You have, with 12 points, you have Jay White, Kota Ibushi, Okada. Runner-ups, you have Will Ospreay with 10 points, Taichi and Jeff Cobb with 8 points. Block B, we have another two, a tie, 12 points, Evil and Naito. The runner-up, Sanada with 10 points, and, Zach with 10, and the others, Kenta and Goto with 8 points. Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts about, from day 13 to 16, and who do you see? We have, 2 more days, as a matter of fact. 2 more days now left in this tournament. Who's going to take it? Who do you think will be the winner of Block A, and who's going to be the winner of Block B?
So, I'll say this about, the Minoru Suzuki-Kota Ibushi match. You talk about how stiff it was. It's like the Hulk versus Jet Li kind of was what I was getting from that. Because Minoru Suzuki just kept going, just the whole time. And it's a match I've been looking forward to since it was announced at the G1, just because, Kota Ibushi's a big, MMA mixed martial arts guy, and so is Minoru Suzuki. I mean, for those who don't know, I think we talked about this on another episode. Look in the archives for that. Minoru Suzuki versus Ken Shamrock in Pancrase in Japan.
Ooh, those elbows, man, knocked him out.
Definitely. So Minoru Suzuki is a shooter 100%. So they, and if you're a young lion, have mercy on you. They talk about chopping you, chop day. The chop day is one man, and that's Minoru Suzuki when you're training. But it was I gotta say, it's a very entertaining match. I would like to see it again, but in a different context.
Yes.
As for some of the other ones, Jay White, was pretty interesting in this. We've already kind of had, I want to see what they're going to do with the whole Bullet Club storyline, because slowly they're really stretching. Even on Instagram and social media, I'm seeing Tama Tonga kind of diss Evil on social media just to further.
Yeah, you know what? I did see that, and it was kind of weird. I'm trying to get an understanding of it. That's what how you said it. Maybe you're onto something. You said it last week and the prior week before that. There might be a split. There might be how we said, how we said that it would be a black and white Bullet Club and a very black Bullet Club. You might see that. Remember
Civil War.
Civil War.
Gato's all behind Jay White all the way.
Yes.
But Dick Togo is behind,
Evil.
evil all the way. Who was Dick Togo back in WWE's days? He was
Kaientai.
Yeah, he was Kaientai
It
back.
was Takumi Chinoku, well, I can't remember, Funaki,
Naki, yeah.
and I forgot who was the last member. There was 4 of them.
And now Dick Togo today, he's probably going to be like the mentor for the other faction now. And it's just going to be like, you know, Dick Togo's guys versus Gato's guys is going to be the main thing we're going to see. You know, Kota Ibushi, what's Sonata's points right now?
Sonata's at 10. He's on a runner-up. And you have on block B. That's block B.
I think there's still, I think tonight was supposed to be, I forgot if it was Kota, I forgot if it was Will Ospreay versus Suzuki or somebody. It was somebody really like hard to take down. It was a big deal person.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Will Ospreay versus Suzuki tonight that we're gonna watch.
Yes.
I'll give you those results. You know, because Ospreay's a lot bigger guy now. So I think my odds-on favorites I'm still going for, but the points are looking very different.
Yeah.
So it depends on what could happen for the next 2 G1s and how the finals are
It's going to be October the 18th, which that would be basically Sunday.
Coming Sunday, everybody.
This Sunday, you know, keep an eye on New Japan, ladies and gentlemen, because that's when the winner of Block A versus the winner of Block B. The winner of that will go on and face Naito for the double champion for the IWGP Heavyweight and the Intercontinental. That's if Naito wins. We don't know what's going to happen or not. I have no idea. And it's hard and like how Matt said, we don't understand why he's a champion in a G1. How's this going to work out? I'm looking forward to seeing it, so stay tuned. Make sure you watch that, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. So stay tuned from our fellow sponsors, which is obviously what you'll be seeing the interview with the owner, Mr. David Gomez. You know, so stay tuned. You'll see our sponsor. Make sure to our SoCal natives up in Southern California, you want to go ahead and buy, your action figures just like me, with the Stone Cold one right here, or the Undertaker. You want to buy, yes. Go to the Wrestling Guy store, and we will have the description below with the address and their social media platforms. Make sure you stop by there and say hello to Mr. David Gomez. If you mentioned our podcast, hey, man, I watched you. I heard about you from Circle Debate. You were here on the interview that we will have him on Saturday. You will hear that, ladies and gentlemen. 10% off. If you
10% off, everybody.
10%. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I heard this correctly. 10% off?
10% off. 10% off, ladies and gentlemen. So
that's a Ty Dillinger % off. That's a Sean Spears % off.
Definitely. So if you mention you mentioned us on Circle Debate, mention either our names. Hey, man, I heard about your store because of the Circle Debate podcast. Oh, I see the interview of the Circle Debate podcast. If you mention him to David, he'll give you 10% off. Get your action figures over there. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned from our sponsor, the Wrestling Guy Store. Yes. Oh, shit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Circle Debate podcast. Sorry. This is what happens when the Wrestling Guy store, you get into, like, the action figure. And, hey, man, I collect them. I'm a collectible guy, and Daniel Bryan all day. And Sammy, ole, 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 ole. But, yes, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that, description below, to our Southern California natives, even how, Matt said either from San Diego, San Bernardino, from the Valley, anywhere. If you want a pro wrestling store, shop at the Wrestling Guy store, and hit them up. Make sure you mention our name, 10% discount. Don't forget about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start this off now. Let's move on with NXT. Now with NXT, great opening tag match on Undisputed Era versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Great match. Obviously, the number one contenders for the tag team titles. Um, I like that. So, Mr. Steamboat, you thought about that match? Great opening match. And where do you see? Now that Rich Holland is no longer in the picture? Because there were speculations that it was supposed to be Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong going heel on Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, that they were the ones that hired Rich Holland. But obviously they have to switch the script. Rich Holland got hurt last week, dislocated and ruptured his patella. So where do you see now this storyline with Undisputed Era, Mr. Steamboat? What do you think about the match, first of all, and where do you see the story going?
So Adam Cole's a little bit out of the picture now, just to let the other UEE members shine. I definitely caught this segment, and the match, was not exactly a squash, but just like leaning towards that, just leaning a little bit, because they didn't really get their intro as much, but like it was all right match overall. But I gotta say the angle though, they're building it up, for Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and then who's it gonna be that's gonna be cleared next week to wrestle? It's gonna be, who said that?
I forgot who was it. Was it not? He didn't say Cole, right? Who did he say? I forgot.
He was talking about himself. It wasn't Adam Cole.
Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah. You're okay.
Kyle O'Reilly. So he's finally, because he's been out this whole time because it was the three of them for a while. It was the three of them with Adam Cole and not, So he was the one that was away. Bobby Fish was the one who was out of the picture for a while. Did you say Kyle O'Reilly?
No, Kyle O'Reilly was the one that was out for a while because remember he's diabetic and because of the fact of the pandemic situation. So
we're finally seeing him come back to the ring, and we get to see him back in the picture. So that'll be kind of cool to see again. But
definitely. I mean, we'll see. We see another rematch between him and Finn Balor. Since Finn Balor had his surgery, he broke his jaw 2 different places, so he's probably out at 6 weeks at the top. So obviously, we're not going to see him compete in Halloween Havoc. So we'll see how that outcome goes. Mr. Hero, and what do you think about this storyline? Where do you see it going now? Did all this happen? What do you see?
I see that it's going to be interesting to kind of see how this all shapes out. I know that Halloween Havoc is coming up quick, a couple of weeks, I believe. So, they really gotta put it all together and in order for that show to be a success, as much as it can be, right?
Yes.
So, definitely, especially with Finn Balor not going to be able to be competing, they're going to have to look at the rest of the roster. And honestly, they have a good amount of stars there, as part of the NXT brand. Undisputed Era, whether together or if for whatever reason they go apart, they're always interesting to watch. And we'll see how it goes.
Definitely, we'll see how that one goes. And then we're seeing another upcoming star. Speaking of stars, are you saying the roster? Now we're seeing a faction coming up. We saw Indy Hartwell obviously passing the nuts, the brass nuts, the brass. You got to reach for that brass, damn it. The brass nuts to Candice LeRae, helping her out, defeating Shotzi Blackheart. Obviously, the winner of that will face Io Shirai, and she is getting her rematch at Halloween Havoc. But now we're seeing this Indy Hartwell getting involved in the storyline. It's interesting. Obviously, people are not familiar with Indy Hartwell. She's a very great independent pro wrestler, involved in other, obviously, outside independent scenes around all over the world. She's very known, very young, upcoming talent, potential. I'm looking forward to see. But this is a storyline that got me confused. So I'll go back to you, Mr. Hero. What do you see this Indian Hartwell and Candice LeRae faction going, and what do you see in Indy Hartwell? What do you see in her and her potential future in NXT with this storyline with Candice LeRae?
I could see her as a heel. I could see her joining up with Candice, and I definitely have been waiting for a female faction, a good one. Especially I think if anywhere in NXT, it could shape up, and it could they could be kind of like an Undisputed Era sort of thing. The women definitely have all that potential. if they can't do a faction for whatever reason in the main roster, it can be done in NXT. And I would like to think that Triple H will allow it to happen and run with it. And yeah, I mean, if this was the start of it, I would say that they're off to a good start.
That's perfect. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Mr. Steamboat, your thoughts about Indy Hartwell?
It's you know, it was her and Candice LeRae was the rivalry, correct?
Well, they had no rivalry because remember, Canada's rivalries mostly was Io Shirai. It just Indy Hartwell was more like, no pun intended, no disrespect to her, when she came into the NXT and even in the main roster as well as a jobber, but now she's getting her little chance, now getting the opportunity to be known in NXT. So we have to wait and see, what she'll do. But this is the first time I see her with Candice. I've never seen her wrestle. Maybe they have wrestled, but it doesn't refresh my mind. So but what are your thoughts of Indy Hartwell, like her style, her looks, and her potential future in NXT? Where do you see her in the future?
It's a chance going with the debut. She can make it to the mid card eventually, but I think one of the main tellers is how she's going to be on the mic determines how high she's going to go. Because once again, WWE, there's always that acting element that they're looking for with you, that character element rather than the in ring.
Agreed.
That's the thing they always push for. So.
Agreed, 100%. Definitely, we'll see how that faction works out later on, in NXT future. Then obviously we saw, Toni Storm's in-ring return for the first time. It's been a long time that we haven't seen her since the whole global pandemic situation, being stuck in, in New Zealand. Is she New Zealand or Australian? I always forget. And I do apologize, me forgetting her foreign, where she's from, but I always get confused with Australia and New Zealand. But wherever she was at, she came back, made an impressive win against Aaliyah. She looks great. She doesn't look like she hasn't lost a step either. Just like we saw, like Ember Moon, I don't think she lost a step either. So what I'm looking forward is, and which I'll ask you, Mr. Steamboat, going back to you, do you see Toni Storm as a heel, babyface, or where do you see her future at NXT as well? What do you see?
She's got a fierce look in her, that she could have a mean streak. So I think heel is kind of what works for Toni Storm. And, once again, anytime one of my favorite countries is going to get mentioned, Auckland, New Zealand's where she's from. So, let Toni give us a tour of Auckland. Show us around town. Have a Auckland tour special whenever you come back home. Just any excuse. Like, you get the combination of my two favorite things, New Zealand and wrestling. So anytime those two things come together, there you go. So it's you, Jay White, Dakota Kai, and B. Priestley. All you New Zealanders, all you Kiwis.
Mr. Hero, your thoughts about Toni Storm's future in NXT?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to her countdown episode, or what is it, the 365 or 24 episode, have them show a little bit of New Zealand. New Zealand is a beautiful country, and so and she's had an interesting career too. So all these new stars coming up, I'm still getting to know, and I'm still seeing what they bring to the table in NXT and potentially in the main roster. I do see a lot of potential in Toni Storm, and she was in NXT UK, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of potential there. She has a good look, right? She looks like a superstar, and I see bright future for her career. As
a heel or as a face?
That's a good question. I see her more as a heel.
There you go. So we got 2 out of 3. Well, 3 best out of 3 because I'm great minds think alike, ladies and gentlemen. We're not fucking Meltzer with your 5 fucking stars. Kiss my fucking ass with your 5 stars. But off the subject with that. But definitely. I see Toni Storm to be becoming a great heel in NXT. I would like to see her in Ember Moon, her and Io Shirai. Again, we just see them before in the EMA Classic tournament. I'm looking forward to see a lot of what this NXT women's roster is going to deliver. I'm going to say this right now first in regards for the women's division in NXT. You have your women's tag team. You have your women's NXT. You have the NXT Women's Championship, even in the main roster championship. They need a mid-card champion. They need to create a women's intercontinental or create the NXT Diamond Championship I'm calling it first right now. Hey, Papa Vinny, call me. You see, like, se habla español and Filipino and,
German.
And German, guten Tag. Yeah. Italiano también, buongiorno.
Angela Mela.
So the list goes on.
And Yezel, Korean as well. But definitely, we will need to see a mid-card title for NXT for the women's, because since the women's division is so stacked, I wouldn't mind having a mid-card title for all three brands, which they should be. But I think it should be more defended in NXT than the main roster, because they really haven't had the women's tag team titles in NXT as much. There's always on Raw, one SmackDown, Raw, one NXT, and then Raw. It's like, fuck, come on. Need to move those titles around, make it more competitive, but either name the Women's Diamond Championship or International or Women's Intercontinental, something, shit. Or, Miss United States, I don't know, anything. I think those women deserve a mid-card title. Do you guys agree, yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, a good thing it's not during the Attitude Era, I think it would have been named something else, But yeah, I think that they are long overdue for a mid-card title. I'm all for it. And I can already see designs of the belt in my mind, of how they could go, especially with a Diamond Championship. That just sounds cool right there, So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Steamboat, what do you feel? You agree, disagree, Mr. Steamboat?
If we're all for the women's revolution and like equality and all that, we gotta give them just as many belts as the men to wrestle for.
24/7.
We're gonna have. Why not have its own division?
No, not a 24/7 for the women's. Hell no, that'd be stupid.
I mean, Carmella did win it.
Oh yeah, and yes, she did. You're right. She did it.
So if you really are all for the women's equality and for that, give them just as much time and just as many belts. They're great performers. There are great women in the mid card, and there are great women at the top, and there's great women in the tag team. So there should be a mid card title.
Yes, definitely. And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We are saying it here first. If they come up with a diamond title, no, I'm not going to sue your ass. I'm not going to do that. Just fucking call us, and we'll write for you the damn storylines. We'll create a tournament for you. We'll put the best tournament for you. That's all we can do for you, and then pay us after. And then we'll figure it out after. If we stay full-time or part-time.
Pay us in Stone Cold beer.
There you go. That's right. Broken Skull IPA. Pay us in Stone Cold beer. There you go. You got it. All right. Now to the main event of NXT, which was an interesting match. Dexter Lumis versus Damian Priest for the NXT North American Championship. Great, awesome, phenomenal match on both sides. We mentioned this before on our archives in the previous episode. I love the fact that Priest is getting the push that he deserves. And the Punishment Martinez, we're a big fan of yours, and I'm glad that you got the push he deserved. I'm glad he getting noticed. The same with Dexter Lumis. This match was interesting. I wish they could have held on to it and put it for a takeover match. Made it a little bit more interesting, but by the looks of it, they're really pushing for Cameron Grimes going after the NXT belt. I mean the North American belt with Damian Priest, or but he got to step over Lumis first, then go to Damian Priest. That's what I see. My opinion. I'm calling it first. But yeah, Mr. Hero, your thoughts about the main event? Your thoughts about these two gentlemen?
Yeah, with Finn Balor gone, the North American title steps up, and a guy like Damian Priest, who's getting all the momentum right now. He is definitely delivering. I'm finding myself becoming more and more of a fan of his work, you know, and so yeah, definitely I enjoyed the main event. Dexter Lumis, I also that's another wrestler that I'm enjoying his work also. So yeah, looks good.
There you go, Mr. Steamboat. Your thoughts?
It's really cool to see two wrestlers with like very dark gimmicks like Damian Priest and Dexter Lumis go at it, because it's one of the things we get denied, since the early days of everybody wanting Sting and the Undertaker. When you get like two very dark, the other thing we got denied was the Demon Finn Balor versus the Fiend. We didn't really see the Demon. We just saw Finn Balor.
Yeah.
So we got two nice like dark gimmicks going at it. So that's cool to see. It's not heel versus heel either. This isn't two jerks going at it. These are like just like two kind of evil demon crazy guys. Like I like that. That's almost like whenever you see it's like got the whole Godzilla versus King Kong dynamic, Godzilla Mothra, two monsters.
Yeah.
That's what people enjoy seeing.
Yeah.
So more stuff like this. This is what, when you create a whole mythos, a lore, a character like that, and put them up against each other, it makes a great main event. So
absolutely, I agree 100% with that. I love that, and I like the fact that NXT is building their own platform. Even though yes, it's the Wednesday night wars, but I'm loving the fact how you're now utilizing their talent that they have available and putting it out there. With Karrion Kross off the picture right now, and obviously Finn Balor right now off the picture. Adam Cole is obviously off the picture right now too, but we'll see him obviously later on. But this is great to finally see these talents being up there. I love the Kushida one. I did, I'm loving that as well, and as well with Damian Priest. And I'm glad they gave him the North American Championship. And he's going to push that title to the level. And I think him main eventing, he's going to main event Hollywood Havoc against Gargano, because there's no NXT title on the line. We're going to see that. So we're looking forward.
And they elevate the title. Always elevate.
Yes, agreed 100%, and I hope they do. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to AEW 1 year anniversary. The revelation.
Here.
Let's give it a round of applause to AEW. Always killing it. I love you guys.
It brought me back to wrestling.
You are making pro wrestling great again. Mm-hmm. No pun intended to politics. I'm saying it as a fan. So you're making it again for modern pro wrestling great again. I love it. And don't get me wrong, NXT's doing it as well, because remind you, it's different. Every promotion has their own different styles. But I'm loving the fact that the AEW pulled it off on this 1 year anniversary. Great opening tag team title match between FTR and Best Friends. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Then the arcade fucking scene right there. Like, wow, I kept saying getting mad at Miro. Like, what the fuck? You broke my game. But, Mr. Hero, your thoughts about the opening match? FTR obviously retaining. And then, obviously, Miro kept saving attacking Best Friends after. So what do you see Miro's... first of all, let me ask you two questions. First one is the match of FTR Best Friends. Your thoughts about it, and do you like this Miro Kip Saban faction?
I was about to talk about that too.
Okay, take it away.
Yes. Okay. Well, no, actually.
No.
Let me gather my pieces here. FTR versus Best Friends. Okay. Again, we say this every week, or the tag division being so stacked that you could have a tag team title match on Dynamite and have it be as entertaining as this, and it's great. Everybody's a winner. It sets up the Best Friends' next rivalry with Miro and Kip Sabian, and FTR looks great retaining their titles. Everybody was a winner, I feel. However, I don't want to say I don't like it, but at the same time, I wish that Miro would have been debuted as a singles competitor and gone on and destroy everything in his path, because that's what he is. He is that powerful, character. He's Miro. He's the best man. To Kip Sabian also, I guess. But the whole video game thing, I get it. They're trying to link the whole Twitch thing. I would like for it to be something that they get out of quickly. And I wouldn't want it to be that, he turns heel on Kip, because I actually like Kip Sabian as a heel. I think he works well in that role. But I don't know. I just the whole video game thing is. I want to see him destroy people, not in a screen, but in the ring. So.
All right. Do you have a rebuttal for that, Mr. Steamboat? Your thoughts?
So I'm going to circle back to a little bit at the beginning of the fact that it's AEW's 1 year, and then back to Miro. So AEW, if it was, it's been around since before we started Circle of Debate, and I'll say if it wasn't for AEW, I don't think I'd be here, because I think one of the main things, just hearing the news about Double or Nothing and actually going to Double or Nothing, and then watching the weekly show and the TV deal and all of that, the wild ride it's been. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have had this wrestling renaissance and gotten into New Japan and everything else altogether. Because, I stopped watching wrestling in 03, for various 03, 04 for various reasons. But I think I watched some Asuka matches and some Nakamura matches, but it was really AEW that brought me back altogether and got me into New Japan as well. With that said, I'll say the opening match was really good. And circling forward to Miro, now, one of the things I'm most disappointed in seeing is right now there's a tournament in AEW. Here's what they missed out on doing big time. We're seeing people that Kenny Omega's already wrestled both Rey Fenix and Pentagon already. And then some of the people on the other side of the tournament brackets, we've kind of seen them in tag team matches up against each other. Miro should have been in this tournament.
Yes, we did say that last week in the episode.
Yeah, so they're kind of keeping him in putting him in the tag team picture. I'd say I'll agree 100% with Mike, is a huge misuse of him. I think either immediately throwing him into either the TNT title picture or the world title picture, or a high profile singles feud or the tournament would have been the best use of Miro. Just kind of putting him off to the side, no hate to the tag team division, but what was Rusev known for in WWE? Was he in any interesting tag teams? Who was his
him and Aiden English when it was Rusev Day.
That was it.
And that was my favorite one. And then remember when he was the League of Nations with Sheamus, Rio, and Wade Barrett. That was another faction right there that they were in.
But he wasn't really a tag team guy though the whole time.
Right? Yeah, no, he was either tagging with Sheamus or Barrett or Rio. They always mix it up, or by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the best time for Miro was always when Aiden. I think obviously we all know that Vince slept on it. We already discussed about it in the prior episodes of the podcast. But yeah, I definitely agree with you guys about that. Miro.
I'll say AEW, the good thing is AEW actually listens to their fans, and they always have the opportunity down the line to correct it. So if something we don't like is going on in AEW, it won't continue on for the next 2.5 years.
I agree. But I'm noticing one thing though. This is what I'm noticing. What I'm catching with AEW. Okay, Kip Sabian, he has Penelope Ford. I'm trying to understand why they paired them together. Kip Sabian could be a great singles competitor himself, as well as Miro. I'm just trying to get an understanding why they put them together. It does not mesh to me, honestly, at all. But what I'm noticing is, they don't want to leave these people behind. They're trying to get them, okay, fuck it. Let's put them in a faction and let's see how it works out. Because if you leave them as singles, it's then you're going to see them at Dark every week. You will never see them in Dynamite. If
So
you're catching my verve, right? You get what I'm saying.
I think it also has to do with like Jimmy Havoc being out of the picture. So it's like, oh, okay, it might have been somebody's last minute booking decision. It's like, oh, we're getting Miro's coming in now. We lost Jimmy Havoc, but we're getting Miro. Maybe let's just throw. Who knows if they were just like, oh, we lost Jimmy Havoc. Let's throw Miro into Jimmy Havoc's shoes.
Yeah,
it's basically what they were.
See, but that's a big jump there. I feel. No offense to Jimmy Havoc, but he's not Miro. I mean,
and he shouldn't be used like him either.
Mm.
He shouldn't be used like Jimmy Havoc either. So
no, he shouldn't be. But it just, I don't know. I think how you said, like, maybe it was the last minute booking and putting Kip Saban forward. Maybe it could be that reason. Maybe
please fix it. Put him back.
I think they will.
Competition.
Tony, hey Tony.
We're calling you, Tony.
I'm calling you, Tony. Well, yes, let's go ahead and move on with that. Obviously, we saw now this feud. I'm looking forward. Really, we're gonna see MJF saying maybe debating that kind of want to join the inner circle. What? Wait, what? Wait a minute. What? And then wait. So Jericho replied back, oh, so maybe you kind of want to join the inner circle. I'm like, oh, I want you one-on-one to let's go eat a steak. You want me to go eat a steak with you? You want me to go eat a steak? I will go eat a steak with you. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know where this is going. I'm praying to Tony Khan that he makes this a match, and I have a feeling that Jericho's going to put over MJF. If that happens, and I'm saying here first, ladies and gentlemen, if MJF is put over by Chris Jericho, he's made it. He's gonna win that title from Jon Moxley. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm calling it right now. Mr. Hero, your thoughts about this segment, and where do you see a future match between MJF and Chris Jericho? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, the biggest insult was to Sammy Guevara for that 5XL jacket. I've been I've had a similar. What was that?
Alvin and the Chipmunks with the oversized shirts.
I've had a similar experience with a large shirt, but yeah, it's a very intriguing storyline that is bubbling here. Well, pun intended, really. But yes, yeah, I don't know what to expect from this dinner. I'm sure there's going to be some interesting things said. I do not expect any physicality from either guy yet, right? I think this is something that's going to build up, and I honestly can see the inner circle turning on Jericho, and then Jericho having one more face run, and then because Jericho, he is the master of reinventing himself, and I've always gotten the sense from him that he doesn't like to stay in one place, much, and especially with the crowd singing the theme and whatnot, and he could easily go face at any point, but the inner circle, I feel, is more, and I'm talking about the other four members, have more of a heel vibe to me, and what really does not work for me is MJF leading the inner circle. I just can't see it. I don't see that happening. And if it happens, probably like for 2 weeks and then they're out of it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Do you see a match between him and Jericho?
Yes. Yeah, that will happen at a couple months from now. We'll see. I can't think of their pay-per-view.
Steamboat, your thoughts?
So I'm going to point something out, and sadly Josh isn't here to diss CM Punk like usual.
Yeah, I know, right? I wish he was
here.
I'll still on vacation. He's still on vacation, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think he's gone anywhere. He's on vacation.
You'll be back soon. But I'll say this because this was actually reposted. MJF actually had a Twitter post calling out CM Punk. It's like, Phil, say hi to April for me, you know? And all this stuff. There's like a whole, Phil, you screwed these guys over. You should have come here. You're the big. Everybody stopped caring when you didn't show up at All Out. Blah blah blah. And basically, what I'm thinking is that feud would no matter how much of a jerk MJF would be, that feud would turn. I think that's one of the only feuds that could turn MJF a face. You know, like big face, big time face. You know, just because of like the animosity towards like, you know, CM Punk being like a turncoat. Now, with that said, back to Jericho versus CM Punk, you know, they're gonna really try to drag this out with like very slight things over the weeks. But I don't think MJF would be a charisma, like he's not that level to lead the Inner Circle yet. You know, it could only be one of two things. There could only be an Inner Circle Civil War, or it could because only Jericho is the only one who's kind of accepting of him. And then it was even in an interview that Jericho actually wanted MJF in the Inner Circle as his original plan, but like MJF was already wrapped up in his feud with Cody, hence why that didn't happen. Now he's got his chance to kind of bring him in. Who knows? Maybe here's what else could happen. Maybe somebody else in the Inner Circle could turn face off of this. Not Jericho and not MJF. MJF could be brought in. MJF and Wardlow could be brought in. Maybe somebody else in Inner Circle could turn face off it. Maybe Sammy. Maybe Jake Hager. I haven't heard promos from him, and he's got the whole thing with the wife. So he seems like too much of a jerk right now. He doesn't have. It's looking like it might be Sammy, is what might be
I don't see it. I can't see it.
It's hard with Matt Hardy.
He's getting the short end of the stick at the moment.
Brilliance, yes.
So I mean, right now, Sammy's getting kind of the short end of the stick at the moment. So if anything, there's at least got to be an MJF versus Sammy match coming out of this, in addition to a Jericho versus MJF match.
I would like to see a Sammy Guevara MJF match. That is not bad to see.
I think that's inevitable. I think.
You know what? I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that 100%. Unless they do some bullshit that if MJF beats Sammy, Sammy's out of the Inner Circle, and MJF in. They better not do some shit like that. You never know. I'm saying it here first. They might pull some shit off that way. And then, him getting in an Inner Circle, then fucks everything up. And then they realize.
Makes leaves the taste of poo in my mouth. I'm like, yucky. Yucky.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
That's disgusting, Ivan. Don't tell me that. I don't want to.
Oh, watch it happen, and guess what? You're gonna be messaging me. I'm like, you asshole. You called it like, hey.
I'm gonna go to the toilet and that's the morning sickness angle is what I'm gonna call that.
Hey, I mean, hey, man, creativity. But move on with that. Let's go ahead and actually move on. We did see Big Swole and Hikaru Shida. Great match. I like Big Swole. Like, she put a lot of great fight against Hikaru. I like it. And man, I mean, this is where it's hurting with the women's division of AEW. You're gonna bring back again. I'm not hating on Nyla Rose. There's nothing, no pun intended towards her. But come on, you're gonna see another Nyla Rose and Hikaru again. They need to figure some shit out. This is Kenny. What are you doing? What are you doing with this women's division? I'm not hating on none of them. None of them is the problem. You're the problem that's running it. You need to fucking give it to someone else to do it. We need new faces to challenge for this title. Don't bust a fucking Papa Vinny on Raw. 15 matches every fucking 15 weeks. No, don't do that. We need something better than that. So you're better than that. And you know it. But yeah, Mr. Hero, I mean, where do you see? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Or how do you feel about this? First of all, how do you feel about Big Swole? Her match, like, did she impress you with this match? And where do you see this women's division going so far?
Britt Baker should be champion.
There you go.
That's it. You know, Big Swole. I think this was, in my opinion, this has been her best match there yet, so far. I definitely see that she could have some pretty good matches with other people on the roster, but so far I feel this has been her best one, and of course with the champion. So that's good. The whole Nyla Rose thing. No, it's just nothing against Nyla Rose at all, but for me, I'm pulling for Britt Baker to get this title finally, so she can stop going to the spa with Shivani, and I can get in the ring and make a run for that title and take it. I think she could be a great champion, and maybe her versus Nyla down the line. Yeah, change things up.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. Mr. Steamboat, do you agree with us, or what are your thoughts?
So tonight, this was one of the two big babyface versus babyface matches, because like later on that night we had Cody Rhodes versus Orange Cassidy,
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. So Hikaru Shida and Big Swole are arguably the two biggest baby faces in the women's division.
Yes.
So at the moment, so they wanted to have their baby face versus baby face angle, not so much cheating, some straight wrestling and all that good stuff. Where I think of this, I don't think it's heading towards since Big Swole's in that ring and she's like the second most popular baby face. I think they're gonna go somewhere different with that. It's gonna be Big Swole versus Nyla Rose. And I think the last time Nyla Rose fought Big Swole, I think Nyla Rose beat Big Swole.
It was a squash match,
obviously. Yeah. So I think Big Swole's the main thing they want to get out of it is for Big Swole to avenge that loss. And then they're going to do whatever. And while Big Swole's feuding with Nyla Rose, keeping her busy, I think that's the time for Britt Baker to come in and take the title off of Hikaru Shida. This is what kind of makes the most sense to do. If they go the opposite, if they do Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose again, what are you thinking?
You're gonna give it back to Nyla Rose again. And this one, like, we're gonna start all over from fucking scratch again, and having different women be squashed until I'm like, nah. I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
That's where it's gonna go. That's the only logical thing to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Britt Baker's more. I don't know what the status of her recovery is right now. If she's 100% yet, I don't know what's going on with her. She did have that match where she took a syringe to the leg. So by Big Swole. So.
I mean, there's two women that I would like for them to be, not that I'm like, no pun intended towards Hikaru, like, she's a great champ. She puts great matches. I like her match with Thunder Rosa. That was a great match. I like the match that she put in with Nyla Rosa. That was good for her to win the belt. This one as well with Big Swole. Big Swole is very impressive. She has the potential to become a future champion. But there's one I agree with Mike. Britt Baker should be a champ. Or
I agree.
Or like how number 12 and number 13 say Anna Jay. Anna Jay.
She's the second.
Why not? We need a damn female version of the Dark Order to be the champion, and her be like Brody Lee, as your number 13 and number 12 and 14 says.
Anna Jay is probably the third biggest heel female in
I like it. I fucking love it. Why not have her to be the champ?
Yeah. I actually agree. Yeah. Let's elevate a newer heel. Now Rose kind of already had her time, so Anna Jay also makes sense. Yeah, I forgot.
Damn.
How could I forget? Yeah.
Exactly. Definitely.
Just not Brandy, for the love of God, not Brandy. Oh.
I'm going in.
Much love. Thanks for having Peter Avalon, but we gotta do something.
Yeah. Now let's move on. The match that I need another beer for this because I was so happy. Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy for the TNT Championship. I could go like, I want to go like, oh my God, that was a great match. I loved it. I'm just like, I could walk out. In a good way, not in a bad way. But it was so fucking amazing. kudos to both gentlemen. Cody Rhodes did a phenomenal job selling.
We also have to do this.
My sunglasses are in my other office.
No sunglasses, but you know.
But awesome match, even though it wasn't a draw. A lot of people were not happy about it, and the match ending a draw because the time limit was over. But I was happy with it because why the hell not? This is pretty much protecting Orange Cassidy from a loss. I mean, he lost vertically, okay, yeah. But, you know, this is elevating Orange Cassidy's in-ring ability and his career. And we're finally seeing the real Orange Cassidy. And Cody Rhodes is, man, Cody Rhodes, I got to give it to you, man.
Elevate, always elevate, always choose to elevate.
Yeah, so Mr. Hero, take it away. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, sir. I definitely enjoyed that match. You said that it elevates his career and everything. It also elevates his character. It's not like a Festus where you ring a bell and he turns and this and that. No.
Okay.
Cody made it clear to him that if you don't, step it up, I'm going to run through you. And then that brought out that in Cassidy, he early on in the match, sure, he had his King of Sloth style in the beginning, but then that quickly changed. We saw that Orange Cassidy that we saw against Jericho, which is what needs to happen, I feel, as part of the evolution of the character. The draw was the best call that they could have done, to know and to let fans remember there's time limits, there's draws, this is going to happen, and you got to get used to it, because these are AEW's rule set. It's not, you're not watching WWE where, you could get disqualified and, all this and that, or run-ins happen all the time. There's time limits, also there's rules. So, I'm definitely for it. What I kind of don't like is that they announced a rematch in 2 weeks. And I don't think that should have happened. I think that Darby Allin should have been next. And I'm not really sure what Darby's role is going to be, moving forward in this TNT title picture. But man, I would really like for Darby to win the title, more so than Orange Cassidy. I really don't think Orange needs it. I think Darby would benefit more from it, in my opinion. From Darby, I've seen more losses than wins. I'm not really sure what his record is, but yeah. So that's where my head's at.
All right, Steamboat, the floor is yours.
I must say, I won't shut up about this comparison. You know where I'm going with this.
I want to know.
Kind of what Orange Cassidy does at the beginning of his matches, his sloth styles things very similar to Naito's, where he fakes you out and does the whole, lies on his side and does that thing, and then where he rolls out of the ring and avoids, directly oncoming with you, tranquilo, that's Orange Cassidy's equivalent of that, in a way. It's a little bit of the psychology, but the other side of it is we know. 100% for sure that Orange Cassidy stands up for justice in this match when he snatched the title out of John Silver's hands. That's how that he wanted to fight fair, and that he's definitely super babyface, in this. That not only is the crowd behind him, Orange Cassidy is there is somebody who fights for honor. He's not just a guy who just likes to joke around and do his thing, it's showing that this guy fights for honor. With that being said, I agree with Mike that, I guess Darby Allin definitely needs that title more, would probably benefit more from it. But I'd say one thing that's contrary to is probably Orange Cassidy could elevate the title both as a like we could have whoever after Moxley, but I think Orange Cassidy, I wouldn't mind him being the third or fourth babyface champion that AEW has, because I'd like him to have that title soon, eventually, because I have a feeling him as the face of AEW would like not only elevate the company, but like have it stand out as like a really unique product. That the fact that their champion is somebody with this unique presentation, with this unique style of working, who's very over with the common man, that
who's not from WWE.
Who's not from WWE, and he's been an independent mainstay. And here's the other great thing. One of my favorite things about Orange Cassidy is how he does in intergender matches, because of the way he works. He can make an intergender match both entertaining, non-offensive, and not remind you of like, I think Cornette said that like one of the reasons why he doesn't like intergender wrestling is because it reminds you of like domestic abuse and like, boyfriends beating on their girlfriends and blah, 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 But when Orange Cassidy is wrestling a woman, because the way he wrestles, that comedic style, you don't see, that with him. You don't see anything that reminds you of domestic abuse when that. So you could have Orange Cassidy even be like a transitional, like allow for intergender matches to be seen on AEW and not be something that's offensive or hateful. You could just see, like something fun and very entertaining, like I've seen him, Jordan Grace versus Orange Cassidy or Kylie Ray versus Orange Cassidy. Those matches on the underground on Bar Wrestling or I forgot, it was Wrestle Circus or something like that, where I thought those matches were really fun to watch. So Orange Cassidy is potential for something really great and fun to see, him as champion.
I definitely agree. I haven't really seen his intergender matches as much, but I'm definitely down to check those out because I can definitely see that style meshing well with, like how you say, with the intergender stuff. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree with that. You made a very interesting, valid point, man. It's really like, whoa, you caught me off guard. That's like, whoa. But do I agree? I'll agree one thing, that for a rematch for the upcoming pay-per-view for Cassidy and Cody should not happen.
Move it further down the line. They should move it months away, not
too soon.
Weeks. Yeah,
too soon, and because you got to give that storyline a fresh storyline for it. Like, have Orange Cassidy redeem himself, winning 2 or 3 matches, going back to it again. Hey, I want my rematch back. I want that rematch.
I know what Revolution. Probably at Revolution. Probably that would make sense at Revolution or something else. Yeah. Maybe Iron Man match at Revolution, just to kind of push Orange Cassidy to his limits.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I would like to see. Darby Allin, in his case, I would like to see him as well to be the title picture run. Yes, he should win it. I think his story. This is okay. I know that I'm comparing WWE too much, but obviously I'm a big fan of WWE as well. But I do like the story. Darby Allin, yes, we did say probably before, he's like Jeff Hardy of AEW, right? So why not see a storyline of him, like him winning the belt from Cody Rhodes, being the underdog and unexpectedly win a belt. And yes, he will really make a great he's a great person to represent the TNT title and will attract a lot, which he's been doing now, and he's continued to do, attracting a lot of different fans. And his story, it makes a lot of sense. Likewise with Cassidy, it's really tough because Cassidy's more like how you said, like Naito, like he's just more like yeah. But when he gets mad, like, oh shit, here we go, like it's
cool moves.
It's a tough bind on that one too. Honestly, to really say, it's really tough to say.
So you say this about Orange Cassidy. I mean, not Orange Cassidy. You say this about Darby Allin, that he's like Jeff Hardy. What do you think about him doing something with Matt Hardy since he's there in AEW? I wouldn't mind. Not against each other, but kind of.
Manager role. Like Hardy managing him.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? Like that would be
Yeah.
something. And then not only that, have Matt Hardy's a broken brilliance, the broken Matt Hardy.
Their gimmicks work well together.
Yeah, and have him like, brother Darby, come here. Let me go ahead and reincarnate you to the 7 DTs. You know, he can do all that. He can pull it off.
I want to see them against each other.
That'll be dope as hell too. You know, like that'll be dope as well.
Matt Hardy could be like, you remind me of somebody that I know pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, they could do something like that. The willow trees tell me.
He could call him brother Nero. I knew you come, but he's like, I'm not Nero. I'm Darby Allin. Oh, brother Allin, the brother Darby. Like he could say Nero because Jeff Hardy is only known by Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
WWE cannot trademark his middle name, so fuck off, Vinny. Stop trademarking people's name. Stop that shit.
Nero is a Roman, that's a Roman emperor's name too.
Yes.
So that predates AEW by thousands of years.
But I agree though. Like you guys both have very valid points. It's really tough though to really say who could be the next one to challenge Cody Rhodes. Yes, I say both of them could. What am I seeing a triple threat match by the end of the year? Why not a full gear triple threat match? There's 2 underdogs, one great, no noticeable champ. Wow, that'd be a great, or even between them facing each other, going for that belt, that'd be something else too. See, Khan, give us a call. Se habla español, Filipino, lo que sea, whatever you like. We can speak to you in any language.
Italiano.
And but definitely. Now let's get to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, which is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Jon Moxley retaining the championship, against Lance Archer. What a match. But it was like, they really try to make it better than like from New Japan style, They're really trying to elevate it to that style when the first time when Lance and Moxley met the first time in New Japan, they're trying to elevate it to that style in the States. But sorry, people, you can't get to that level. You can't. Not New Japan style. But, congrats to Moxley retaining. But then the man that I call who's going to be the next AEW champion, Eddie Kingston, came out and attacked Jon Moxley. First, like, hey, good props, good shit. Bam! With a slap and then beating the hell out of him. I mean, I'm calling it right now. Eddie Kingston is your next heavyweight champion. Mr. Hero, do you agree or disagree?
I like it. I think that he would make an excellent champion, to be honest. Those promo skills, man. Again, like how he does in BTE with the candy and all that other stuff, promo school. He is very capable of being an awesome heel champion, So yeah, why not give him the title? First non-WWE guy, Eddie Kingston, AEW champion.
Your thoughts about the match though between Moxley and Archer?
So.
Oh yeah, well, the match itself, yeah. Let's see. I did not watch the New Japan match, so I'm not able to compare and contrast. I did like that. I did like that entrance that he made, Lance Archer, where he threw the guy through the glass. I chuckled, and I thought it was entertaining.
Yes.
And yeah, and I did not like the helmet. I thought that looked kind of goofy to me. But I did like that they were, going at it even before the match, like at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
That these guys just hate each other so much that they just couldn't wait, I think that especially with the lack of buildup between them two because of COVID,
yes.
I do think like something like that needed to happen, and it's great because it makes you look forward to the main event. Right off the bat, it's things like these nuances that really make the difference. Because had it been Monday Night Raw, we would have had a talking segment to build up the main event. But no, this was, them getting physical backstage, and, it was cool. It worked for me. It got me hyped up. the match itself delivered, in my opinion. Two professionals going at it. Moxley with the win. I don't see Archer as AEW champion. He was my pick to be first TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
He let me down, but I see him as in that level, maybe not AEW champion just yet. Kingston, however, I do see he could be a champion for sure, world champion.
Definitely. Mr. Steamboat, the floor is yours.
So I must say that I think I already predicted this match ahead of time that the triple threat, Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer, Jon Moxley, if it's not going to be that triple threat, not next week or whenever, if that's not the next title defense, the only other way they could do it is Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley with a special stipulation. Because they can't just have a plain match between those two again. They have to have something different, either in a cage or some type of something involved. Maybe somebody from their past as the referee or something like that. They need something in there, because you can't just have, or Iron Man match or 2 out of 3 falls. They have to make something different. They can't repeat just Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, but on its own. It's like you can't have the same meal twice so soon. You can't have the same dinner twice so soon next to each other. Like, okay, last week Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. 3 weeks from now, Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston again. They can't just have it playing out like that. So
that's why
something.
I agree, and that's why they should have done that triple threat match for this one. It would have made perfect sense for it. But if how you said, like, if they're not gonna do the triple threat match, I think they should do it. Like I said, they should have that triple threat match. Add no DQ to it. The hell with it. False count anywhere, and Kingston will take it. Because he won't pin Moxley, he'll pin Archer. I'm saying it right now. He'll pin Archer. And then Kingston will win the belt. And he'll get away with it. And, man, if he can hold the belt at least for a month, give it back to Moxley, I'm happy with that. At least,
And then you could cut promos about how unfair it is and how angry he is at AEW and just going crazy, beating up everybody, attacking everybody, outlaw, maybe getting arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Like and not only that, but it also builds a story. It also builds in order to get to Eddie Kingston, get it built, you got to beat his faction. Like, you got to beat Butcher, Blade, Pentagon, Phoenix. You have to, settle one by one individual until you get to him, like, that's something you can build up to as well. The same with Archer, you can throw him in there, like, the hell, anything. It's there's a lot of possibilities that they're able to run with this. It is unfortunate that they did not go with the triple threat match, but at the end of the day, I'm happy though that they did it because it might happen in Full Gear. We might see this in Full Gear. You never know what's gonna happen. But I like that Eddie Kingston is part of the storyline. He's winning me right now. Mike said his promos. So he's be doing a PTE. This guy's winning me, even though he doesn't have the physique, but he has the fucking voice, and he has the charisma to do it. And man, I don't know. He's winning me over. I'm looking forward to see more of Eddie Kingston in the title picture run. But we'll find out. And then obviously we got the announcements. The last 2 competitors, which is one is Pentagon, and the other one was announced. Was it Joey Janela, right? That was announced, or yes, right? Joey Janela announced. So yeah, like what you mentioned earlier, Matt, in reference for that title, #1 contendership on the Kenny Omega side bracket. I agree. I think I'm going to say this right now. This is all set up for Kenny and Hangman. That's it.
And I don't want to see that.
No, but it's so predictable. Yeah. It's so predictable that this tournament really gonna have them in different sides. They're gonna face each other in the finals, man.
I was looking at the bracket, and it's almost as if it was just tailor made for it.
I exactly, and I'm not sold by it.
You know what I'll say? Okay, so in New Japan, the G1, they were actually expecting Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega to face each other, but one of them lost their match, and that didn't happen. So maybe they might be mirroring this. So I'm kind of hoping that somebody derails this. You know, somebody from Hangman's bracket is what I'm praying for.
I have a feeling. I'm with you on that. I think it can happen on both sides. It's either they cost each other their match, or I think that could be one story they could use. They cost each other the match, and then they're both eliminated from the tournament, and then they start feuding with each other and then have their singles at full gear. I mean, I don't know. Something like that. You never know. So that could be the best solution to be out of it. Because you're going to have us as fans that we already know this is a very, very simple predictable that the finals will be them two facing each other for the number one contendership. So the only way to escape is doing that.
I'd rather see, so in Adam Page's bracket, I'd really rather see Colt Cabana, Wardlow, or Jungle Boy up against Kenny. I'll take any of those. I'll take any of those three, you know. And as sort of like Joey Janela versus Adam Page, we already saw it all in. Rey Fenix or Pentagon versus Adam Page, that would be interesting, you know. So, but only like two others against Adam Page I'd be interested in seeing, but the three others against Kenny I'd be more than okay with seeing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the tournament starts next week, so we'll find out. And if this does happen, we're sitting here first. You see, we're just like you guys, the fans. Mm. We understand you. That's what we're with you. We're right behind you. The American hero leading you the way. We're right beside him as well. We're leading you the way to greatness of professional wrestling and giving you the best creativity and thoughts, just like you guys have the best creativity thoughts as well. Great minds think alike. And we'll find out next week with that. Ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate you guys for joining in for episode 24. I'm glad once again for our viewers and subscribers for tuning in. Thank you so much for the love and support. Continue on showing that support, word of mouth, giving up to the rest of the, other viewers, new fans who loves pro wrestling. Don't forget, if this is your first time watching this episode, click on the subscribe button below at the end of this video. Subscribe to our channel. You will get a lot of, obviously, our weekly episodes every Friday and our top 5 every Sunday. And you're going to love the top 5 coming up this Sunday, which we will do our top 5 best gimmick changes of all time. That one is by far, for me, I love all of them, but this one was interesting because it caught everybody off guard. So I'm looking forward for that. So just stay tuned for that one that Sunday. And also stay tuned for Saturday as well, as we have our interview with Mr. Wrestling Guy himself, the owner of the Wrestling Guy store, David Gomez. It was, you will see that interview on Saturday. You will enjoy it. We have a great, wonderful time. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you mention us, the Circle of Eight podcast, you mentioned the Great American Hero, or you mentioned Matthew Steamboat, or you mentioned the Devious One, or CK1 Chris Kennedy, or Reputation Killer Josh Bert Horton, you mentioned one of us. Yeah, I've watched this guy's Circle of Eight, they mentioned you. He'll give you, 10% off. 10.
Sean Spears appears.
Sorry, Sean Spears, this is no longer your gimmick, you're no longer Ty Dillinger. But yes, Daniel Bryan will knock the 10% off. And then Sami Zayn, of course, the IC champ. That's why he's wearing the IC belt. That's where I shop. Of course, yeah, there you go. There goes Matthew Zhang. Matthew Zhang right there. But yes, stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen, for this Saturday's interview with David Gomez, the owner of the Wrestling Guy store. We will put the description below as well. With social media platforms, and we will store our locations where you go for all our Southern California natives. Shop there, man. If you're a pro wrestling fan, obviously you're a collectible, action figure collectible. That's the guy to go to, because you get it right for you. And don't forget, it's Saturday and Sunday. So thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back to you next Friday as we'll go ahead and give you as well the results of the New Japan, the winners of Block A and Block B, and who won out of between that, who will face Naito for the, IWGP, heavyweight and the Intercontinental at Wrestle Kingdom for next year. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and also giving you an update of the Ring of Honor title tournament. Obviously, the semifinals, so who actually made it to the finals. We'll give you more update with that and more pro wrestling news. Raw, the season premiere of SmackDown, Raw season premiere of Raw, more of NXT, more of AEW Dynamite. So we'll give you a lot, and we're gonna give the people what they want, courtesy of Dirty Heels Podcast. My boys from New York, that's my brother Bub and Kofi Winston. Much love and respect to y'all. Shout out to Dirty Heels Podcast. Shout out to that 90s Talk Podcast. As well from the UK. Shout out to Catherine as well for Catherine Pro Wrestling. I always put her in the description below. Follow her blogs. She writes the best women's pro wrestlers updates. So follow them on their social media platform. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the host Steve is When I Even See, with obviously the Hat Hatter from the Undertaker, from being I like to spit on people's face to be cool, or whatever Cardi just said, and then I was instead of saying he's got another hat. We'll see what he comes out with this one. Oh my God.
Jones.
Indiana Jones. He can pull out the Breezango, fashion pals right there. That's your fashion.
He is the fashion police.
He is the fashion police right there. And also, mad that when you hear that song, I am a real American. When you hear that, you'll fight for your rights, for everything. Fighting retribution and no, sir. Fuck Alvarez, fuck T-Bar Mace, and that is the great American hero, Lopez. Say goodnight, buenas noches, and we'll see you on Saturday and Sunday and next week.